I'm Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today, I am so excited to sit with Mr. Moore and Mrs. Tripp. They have been working hard all summer long with our children, trying to make sure they don't lose their academic footing over the summer. And then when school starts, Mrs. Tripp will be going back to elementary, kindergarten. Oh my goodness, and you've been doing that for how many years?
7 years.
7. Oh, 7 is complete. And you are brave. Kindergartners. Because they don't even want people looking at them some days. They'll say, oh, he's looking at me. And I'm like, okay. And then, Mr. Moore, you are very brave in that you're working with middle schoolers.
That's correct.
Because some days they don't know if they want to be little kids or teenagers. So with the hormones going there, you have a challenge every day.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so this summer, Vanessa Jackson has really been bragging on you all with the work that you've been doing with her students and helping them to maintain or to improve in some areas in terms of their academics. I just think that's very important because over the summer, a lot of times people just let the kids play, not hating, video games, they're doing sports, basketball and all of that, but they're not even putting in reading time or any academic time. And so when we get back to school, it's tough to get back on track. And so what are you doing to prepare? And I know in the old school, we used to have with the big fat pencils. You all probably don't have those anymore. No, because you had to get control of the motor skills.
Right.
So we had the little pads with the little red and blue lines, and you learned the ABCs, and you had the big fat pencils. So we're not doing that anymore. Okay, so what are you doing with the young children?
I am basically trying to get them to improve on their reading.
Okay.
I've partnered up with the library to bring some books in, and for some kids to try to get some library cards, because a lot of the kids do not have library cards.
I know, and I'm just so excited about that because I was sharing with Mr. Moore in a sidebar before you joined us that in the old days before integration, you had the library card. There were a whole lot of things. We had the bookmobile, even though we went to the Mildred Terry. That's where we had to go before integration. But the bookmobile came around in the summer, and we were excited. And so you have been exposing the children here at Child Care Network to having a library card, which is a privilege.
Yes.
And they have a lot of activities there as well.
Yes, they do. They have a lot of activities. I even had the library to come in and read to the kids as well. So I'm trying to incorporate more reading with them. So
when school starts, those are things, and I learned this in one of my other professions, we use the children as ambassadors to teach the parents. So if the child comes and say, I want to go to the library, that's a good thing.
Yes.
Because we will take them to skating and Hollywood Connections and Chuck E. Cheese, but if we have one coming and thirsting to get a book, then we all should be celebrating that.
Yes,
Yeah, we should be. Yeah. So, Mr. Moore, bless your heart. You and I have a similar past. We didn't commit a crime or anything, but you have worked in social services.
That's correct.
So we have the DFACS thing in common.
Yes.
A very thankless job, but very important work, but it's not something you'll do and get rich off of.
Right.
And so in your regular work, you work with the middle schoolers, primarily in the old days, what we called at risk. And
Right.
so what are you and who are you actually working with? And what's your focus?
I'm a special education teacher.
Are you really?
Yes. And I'm working with those with autism,
Exceptionality.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So you are very patient
Very much.
to be a young person. Oh my goodness. Maybe next you'll be a minister. No, because that is a tough
It
look.
is.
Because it is so much
Yes.
that's wrapped
Yes.
into that besides being the middle schoolers. The hormones are going, and then we have all the other exceptionalities.
Right.
Okay, so you are focusing on those that might need remediation,
Yes.
and then you're helping them with, so what's the biggest tool that you use?
The biggest tool that I use is
Behavior
behavior. Yes.
modification?
Yes, behavior modification.
Because sometimes you can't get to the academic part, is what I'm saying, till you get that part worked out. Right.
Yes, that's true.
And so you are focusing on managing that
Yes,
and still trying to add the academic.
Yes, the education piece too there.
Okay, so you're probably going to sleep about 7 o'clock every night. You're about to go to bed about 7 o'clock, just so you can be ready. Yeah, that's a lot. So in your room, how many children are you serving?
We only, with the population that we serve, we only have 9 kids in each classroom.
Okay, so that's manageable.
Yes.
And then it's what, 2 adults?
3 adults.
3 adults. Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so they can get the attention that they really need. And I think that's important because it's when children need extra, we can't just put them like we're warehousing them. And I like to tell people this, but before integration, some of our classes, we had 30 people in the class. You know, and some people get lost along the way because there is no way. You know, and now we know we have parapros and other aides and things like that. But back then, it really wasn't designed like that. And so you all have a lot of resources that you can pull from.
Yes.
You know, to help the students. And of course, all of your children, students, will have an IEP.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
All of our students do have IEPs.
Okay, and so that's something that you're educating the parents on. Because I, in my other life, I've run into them, and a lot of the younger parents don't understand why it's important to have the IEP.
That's great.
And so you are managing the parent side, the classroom.
Classroom side, the child side, all sides. All sides.
So pretty much you don't have a social life. You have to sleep every day.
Yes.
Just so you can be prepared for the battlefield.
That's correct.
Yeah. And so you are housed where? During the normal school year?
We are housed at Marshall Success Center.
Okay. All right. So
that's a therapeutic day program.
Okay. And so all of that is contained?
Yes.
Okay. On that one campus?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, what we're going to do now, we're going to go to our first break to our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. Okay. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front lines for veterans every day. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided, a touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Whole Patient Healthcare. Dr. Jada Rimes-Bacote is board certified in family medicine. She believes the best patient care includes practical, individualized lifestyle changes. Located at 1338 13th Avenue, Columbus, 706-641-2080, or visit wholepatienthealthcare.com. And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm enjoying this visit with 2 of our great educators, Mrs. Tripp and Mr. Moore, and I am so very proud of the fact that they are working with our children this summer when they could be on vacation at the beach, chilling, as I see some of the other educators, as they were getting close to the end of the school year, they were counting down the days on social media. It's like, we need a break. But I want to commend you both and thank you so much that you all would consider giving of yourself and time to help the after-school students here at Child Care Network. You know, this is a population where many of the children come from socially and economically disadvantaged families. And so we want to make sure that we can provide everything that we can to ensure that all kids are successful. You know, and as we were saying in a sidebar at the break, I found out Miss Tripp is a Carver girl like me, and we're both from the Dove, and I'm so very proud of that. And even in my world travels with my spouse, I always told people I was from the Dove. And they would say, well, where is that? I said, you don't want to know. If you ever get that, Gloria, you got a problem. So, but anyway, I do want to thank you all for coming and being here with Ms. Jackson and her regular staff, and introducing the children to the library and teaching those learning skills that will help them. Because if you can read, you can do anything. And there is a difference between reading and remembering what you read, reading and comprehension. Because sometimes they call words, but they don't remember what they read. And so you have something in place, a system that you have been doing with the kids. Share that with our audience.
So yes, like I said, I've basically been reading to the kids, and then we talk about what I've read the previous day, and then I incorporated them reading to themselves and
silently.
Yes, ma'am.
That's the test.
Yes.
Right.
So reading to themselves and them telling me what they read.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the library to, like I said, bring out some books, and so they get those books and they go to their different spots. They don't have to be at the table, wherever they're comfortable, and then they go read. And in 30 minutes, we're reading. That's
30 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And so when they read silently, then they come back to you. And this is the way that we check comprehension.
Yes.
And they come back to you and tell you what the book was about.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that's what we call a trick in teaching them, and they don't know that it's a trick that they're being taught.
Right.
So, they think it's a new adventure. So I think that's really innovative, and I like that. So first you're reading, you said, on the sidebar, chapter books.
Yes.
And so then you let them read, and then you have them come back and tell you what that book was about.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so are the parents witnessing this? Are you sharing this with the parents as they come in? Because, the kid might want to go home and read. And that's what we want.
Right.
And not so much television and social media.
Right.
Right.
So I catch some of the parents. So when I catch some of the parents, I do tell them what we're doing. A lot of them have been excited about what we've been doing back there. And then some of the kids are telling their own parents, because I challenged the kids. I said, go get a library card, because a lot of them didn't have library cards.
Right.
And so I had like 5 of them that ended up getting library cards because
Wow.
they see what we're doing back there, and they're excited. And,
Yes.
and a lot of them never been to the library, so we have a library trip coming up in July, and I'm really excited about that, for them to explore the library and how they can read more books, because that is really strong for me, because I've been in kindergarten for 7 years, and I see a lot of kindergartners that are coming out and they're not reading, and that really puts them behind for first grade.
It does.
So that really pushes me to help these kids read more and understand what they're reading.
So not only is this an education mission, I hear ministry. I'm just saying what I hear. I heard that part. You didn't say that part. But yes, you don't want them to be left behind. Because as Mr. Moore and I were saying before we started in a sidebar, once they get behind academically, then we are looking at behavior problems. Then that escalates to in-school suspension. Then we're before the tribunal. Then it moves on, to the Department of Juvenile Justice, and then on down the pipeline to the prison. And I can say that because I worked as a juvenile tracker, and I also taught in the Calhoun State Prison here in Georgia. So I know that a lot of times they start acting out because they're behind. And so you have seen that, and now you're trying to redirect that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And so, Mr. Moore, Lord Middle School, you are really brave. And so here with Ms. Jackson, you're working with the after-schoolers.
Yes.
This is a little more laid back than at Muscogee County School District, where we had a handbook.
Right.
But your kids have the IEP.
Yes.
And so you all are working closely with the parents, best you can,
Yes.
to make sure that they understand that they have a role in ensuring their child's success, because you say you have students on the autism spectrum. That's a wide spectrum. Because there's a TV show where the doctor has autism. And then one of my friends, her son, Gary, he's been on the spectrum. He graduated from CSU. He has his own business. He learned to drive a car, but it took him a long time. He's 30-something,
Right.
but Gary did it. And so we're celebrating that,
Right.
He took a different route.
Right.
And so you're explaining that to the parents
Yes.
and
Yes.
encouraging the kids.
Yes. Yes.
Because we all learn differently.
Yes, that's true. And it's also good to spot that at an early age, so you can get on it.
And so the ones in your group, are they separated by I know you said you had like 9
Mhm.
by one end of the spectrum to the other. Is that what you all are doing with the 9 in the classroom?
They're all in there together.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes.
I know, because it's against the law to actually separate the
Right.
disciplines.
Right.
But I mean, like, in groups.
Yes.
You know how you have the old school here,
Mhm.
they probably don't even do this no more. You know, you have the spelling group over here, you have, because I learned how to read with the SRA kid, I'm very proud of that at Carver Elementary. And so if I was in the accelerated, I could move to a different table.
Right.
Not out of the room, but just to a different table.
Mhm.
And because they might have still been reading those books, I could just move over.
Mhm.
So is that what your classroom looks like, or everybody's just stationary?
Everybody's stationary, but with me, well, one, you have to learn what child you're dealing with.
Okay,
Knowing your child.
every child is
Yes,
different.
every child is different. And learning, once you get to learn them, you can get a better idea of how to teach them.
How to help them.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Well, I tell you, you all are some magnificent young people. No, really, this is a lot. You know, usually we have older educators that's, stepping up doing what you all are doing. And I commend both of you because you already shared with me what your age was. And oh my God, most of your friends at the beach hanging out, they're not trying to do all of this. And that's why I said to you, this almost sounds like ministry to me, because all I see on social media is Panama City and Disney World and all of that. And you all have committed to being here at Child Care Network and working with the children that really you have identified those needs, and you're trying to help them. So when we get to back to school, they can go and not be so far behind.
Right.
Yeah,
That's great.
I applaud you. What we're going to do is take our final break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors.
David Benefield at the historic Highland Hall, florist extraordinaire, making dreams come true for all occasions. Visit David and his team today at 1504 17th Street or call 706-324-4881, where happiness blooms. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a 5-star commercial service with satisfied customers in Georgia and South Carolina, built on the principle that every detail matters. Barbara's Cleaning Service, a new season building a family legacy.
And welcome back to Straightforward. I have really enjoyed this visit with Ms. Tripp and Mr. Moore, 2 awesome young educators that have given up their summer to come here to Child Care Network and assist Vanessa Jackson with her after-schoolers, and just really trying to make sure that they haven't lost so much on the education side of the house. It helps them to go back to school in the fall, late summer. Now y'all go earlier and earlier. In the old days, we used to go after Labor Day. Now y'all going when it's 185 degrees outside. But anyway, we didn't have air conditioning back then, so maybe that's why we went later. But that's just very important. And I wanted you all to share with our audience in this final segment tips, things that parents should be doing, or you suggesting that they do to help the students. Because education is the key. It can change your whole life, so it doesn't matter where you come from, it's just what you do. You can change your circumstance if you're fully committed. And I can say that because I am proudly from the Dove. One of 4 girls graduated from Carver. We slept 4 in a room and 2 to a bed. And when our cousins came, they slept at the foot. I have no shame in my testimony. I'm happy to tell it. And now I can just go anywhere in my house and do whatever I want to do. So it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish.
That's right.
And so, Mrs. Tripp, you were saying that the tips that you wanted the parents.
Yes. So for the parents, I suggest that you connect with your teacher, your child's teacher. Don't be against the teacher. Listen to the teacher, because we've been in it for a while and we've seen a lot of kids, because that can kind of not help your child at the end.
Right.
Because you want to be a community. I love a community, and that's what I love doing. So be a community with the principals and the teachers that are helping your child so that you can better understand how you can help your child at home.
Right. Because
Because
you can't do it all at school.
no, not at all. We have a short amount of time with a lot of kids, so we can't do it all at school. So, letting your child read to you instead of you reading to your child, that's a new thing. A lot of parents want to read to their child, but we really need the child to read to you. And you ask those questions, those detailed questions on what's happening in the story so they can understand what they're reading.
Okay.
It's just a lot of things that have changed in the school system that we need parents to, just be better community helpers.
Right, it's advocacy. You want
Yes.
them to be the best advocate for their child.
Yes.
And not make the school leadership the adversary.
Right.
Right, yeah, because teamwork makes the dream work.
That's right.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so, Mr. Moore, I know you work with our wonderful children that learn differently.
Yes.
We all learn differently, some by what, feeling, touching, seeing. I'm a visual person. I gotta see it. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Some people can hear. That's how we got folks learn how to play the piano by ear. Can't read a note.
All right.
Right. So all of our gifts and talents are different. And even though you are working with the students with exceptionalities, you have tips for parents.
Yes.
We still want them to be involved. We don't wear house keys.
All right.
We're not
Right.
doing that. That was old days where we just tucked them away.
Mhm.
So what's your best advice?
My best advice for parents is one, talk to your kids. A lot of times kids just need an outlet to talk to, and most of the time it's their parents that they want to talk to, but
Right.
the parents aren't talking to their kids like they need to.
Okay.
Parents need to stay on top of their IEP.
Okay, now what is an IEP? I know what it is, but for our audience.
An individualized education plan.
Individualized education plan.
Yes.
So that means you all have come together as a team
Yes.
and put together a plan for a specific student.
Yes.
And that is how you measure their progress and success.
That's correct.
And it requires not just the school doing their part, but it requires the family doing their part.
Yes.
Okay, so it's teamwork
Yes. And any outside resources for that child.
and any outside. So if they have a speech therapist, that person is also,
Yes.
behavior therapists
Yes.
are also on that team.
Yes.
And so if this wasn't some haphazard where you all just got in the office and rolled up something and
Right.
said this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right, this was a collaborative effort.
Right.
Okay? And so when they go home at night, because they have exceptionalities, they don't get to just play video games. We're not doing that.
Exactly.
Right. So you're encouraging the parents to have,
Limit screen time for kids.
so that's that technology game for
Yes.
the people old as me, grandparents. When they say screen time, I mean, take all of those devices away, the iPhone, the iPad, the computers, the video games, all of that.
Yes.
So we need to limit that.
Yes.
Okay, we need to have what, standard bedtime.
Yes, a standard bedtime. A normal child should be getting like more than 8 hours of sleep. So, 9 at the latest, kids should be going to sleep.
Right. Because when they are tired, they act out.
Yes.
Because even as an adult, when we get tired, everything get on my nerves. It's like, I know, really. Your patience, you just kind of like show
Right.
patience. It's like, no, I can't do that.
Right.
So we need to make sure that the children are getting the proper amount of rest, limit that technology time, be involved with the IEPs,
Yes.
have them reading to you, the parent,
Know who your kids are being around, because there's a lot of violence going on.
Well, no, that's important.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of times, especially in your age group with the middle schoolers, they want to be accepted and peer pressure. I was a juvenile tracker, and I can tell you sometimes the quiet kid got in trouble because they just wanted to be with the cool kids, and later you find out they wasn't so cool in the first place. So you need to just pay attention,
Right.
and be involved
Yes.
and be present. And that does not require you being a millionaire. And I tell people that, I'm from the dub. It just requires it. You have a routine. We were expected to come from Carver Elementary, Carver High School, get your schoolwork done, get your clothes for the next day. Then you could go outside and play.
Right.
And then you got to check their street light. You know, because we have kids out on the street. It's 9 or 10 o'clock at night. We got little kids in the yard, out on the street, riding a bike, doing different things. So we got to get some order, is what you always say.
Yes.
And we need to start with the kindergartners.
Yes, start with the kindergartners.
And then when we get them to the middle school, then you prepare them for Mr. Moore.
Yes.
And then they're ready to go on to the high school.
Oh, yes.
No, we gonna have this teamwork, makes the
Yes,
dream
it
work,
is.
sure, right. Well, I just want to thank you all so much for coming and sharing with me. Miss Jackson has done nothing but brag on you all, and I had to come see for myself. You know, I'm that kind of person. But no, really, I thank you all so much for doing this. I think you're really making a difference. I know when school starts, you'll still be coming to work in the evening with the children here, and I'm checking back, and we'll have things to celebrate. How's that?
Yes,
That'll
ma'am.
work.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. This has been straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.
What up, world? What's up, Columbus? Be sure to tune in every Sunday, Straightforward with Gloria Strode, right here on NBC 38.